Hey there, I'm Kris, and welcome back to another Anoxtalks video, where today we are going to see if I have a personality. And we're going to do this by taking the, I guess, slightly popular 16 Personalities test. I mean, it says that almost 360 million people have taken the test, so I'd call that pretty popular. So it says here, take our personality test and get a freakishly accurate description of who you are and why you do things the way you do. Complete the test. Be yourself and answer honestly to find out your personality type. Okay, so it's basically you have to go through a bunch of questions, and then at the end it's like, this is you. So, you enjoy vibrant social events with lots of people. I think I'm going to slightly disagree, because the lots of people part, like if it's less than 10 people, I think I'll enjoy it more. I'm not really good at doing stuff with lots of people though, but I do like social events, but that might just be the lockdown speaking. You often spend time exploring unrealistic yet intriguing ideas. Way too much. Your travel plans are more likely to look like a rough list of ideas than a detailed itinerary. Probably, I'm not very good at scheduling things. You often think about what you should have said in a conversation long after it has taken place. All the time. If your friend is sad about something, your first instinct is to support them emotionally, not try to solve their problem. No. It's probably a bad thing, but I feel like solving a problem will fix things faster than trying to help emotionally. People can rarely upset you. Just gonna go in the middle of the disagree there. You often rely on other people to be the ones to start a conversation and keep it going. Yes, all the time. If you have to temporarily put your plans on hold, you make sure it is your top priority to get back on track as soon as possible. I don't know with this one. I'm gonna go slightly agree, but I don't really know why. You rarely worry if you made a good impression on someone you met. All the time. That's why I really don't like initiating conversations, because I don't like feeling like the thing that I initiated the conversation with completely ruined the impression I gave off. It would be a challenge for you to spend the whole weekend all by yourself without feeling bored. A couple years ago I would have said completely disagree, but I think as I've gotten older I've found an appreciation for other people, so I'm only gonna do slightly disagree. You are more of a detail-oriented than a big-picture person. I think I'm gonna slightly agree with detail-oriented. You are very affectionate with people you care about. Not really. You have a careful and methodical approach to life. Slightly disagree. You are still bothered by the mistakes you made a long time ago. At parties and similar events, you can mostly be found farther away from the action. Probably. You often find it difficult to relate to people who let their emotions guide them. I think this is the first one I'm gonna go in the middle on. It's a 50-50 for that. It really depends on the emotion that people are letting guide them. When looking for a movie to watch, you can spend ages browsing the catalog. Slightly agree. You can stay calm under a lot of pressure. Not all the time. When in a group of people you do not know, you have no problem jumping right into their conversation. Very not. When you sleep, your dreams tend to be bizarre and fantastical. I don't dream as much as I used to, but when I did dream, I would slightly agree with that. In your opinion, it is sometimes okay to step on others to get ahead in life. I don't feel good about this answer, but you are dedicated and focused on your goals, only rarely getting sidetracked. Slightly disagree. If you make a mistake, you tend to start doubting yourself, your abilities, or your knowledge. I think that's gonna be a pretty safe agree. When at a social event, you rarely try to introduce yourself to new people and mostly talk to the ones you already know. That is a very big agree. You usually lose interest in a discussion when it gets philosophical. Slightly. You would never let yourself cry in front of others. Depends who the others is. You feel more drawn to places with a bustling and busy atmosphere than to a more quiet and intimate ones. Slightly disagree. You like discussing different views and theories on what the world could look like in the future. It's slightly interesting, but it's not something that I normally go and seek out doing. When it comes to making life-changing choices, you mostly listen to your heart rather than your head. That's a 50-50. You cannot imagine yourself dedicating your life to the study of something that you cannot see, touch, or experience. I don't really understand that one, but yes. You usually prefer to get your revenge rather than forgive. I think most of the time that's the case. You often make decisions on a whim. Sometimes. The time you spend by yourself often ends up being more interesting and satisfying than the time you spend with other people. I think that's a toss-up. You often put special effort into interpreting the real meaning or the message of a song or movie. I don't really care. You always know exactly what you want. Not always. In fact, I'd say not most of the time. You rarely think back on the choices you made and wonder what you could have done differently. Hard to disagree. When in a public place, you usually stick to quieter and less crowded areas. Yeah, those are nicer. You tend to focus on present realities rather than future possibilities. Most of the time. You often have a hard time understanding other people's feelings. I'd say that is not true for the most part. When starting to work on a project, you prefer to make as many decisions up front as possible. I probably don't do that, but in theory that sounds like a good idea. When you know someone thinks highly of you, you also wonder how long it will be until they become disappointed in you. You feel comfortable just walking up to someone you find interesting and striking up a conversation. I do not. In fact, the more interesting I think someone is, the harder it will be to approach them. You often drift away into daydreaming about various ideas or scenarios. It's not often, but it does happen. You look after yourself first and others come in second. I mean, it's really hard to help others if you aren't already in a good place. That's why the adults are supposed to put on their mask on the airplane before they put it on the child. Even when you have planned a particular daily routine, you usually just end up doing what you feel like at any given moment. Most of the time. Your mood can change very quickly. It can. Doesn't mean it does. Most of the time it's just a slow transition. You often contemplate the reasons for human existence or the meaning of life. Pretty often. You often talk about your own feelings and emotions. Not really. You've got detailed education or career development plans stretching several years into the future. No. You rarely dwell on your regrets. No. Spending time in a dynamic atmosphere with lots of people around quickly makes you feel drained and in need of a getaway. Say more often than not. Man, what is going on out there? You see yourself as more of a realist than a visionary. I think so. You find it easy to empathize with a person who has gone through something you never have. It's not easy. Your personal work style is closer to spontaneous bursts of energy than to organized and consistent efforts. Yes. Your emotions control you more than you control them. Slightly. After a long and exhausting week, a fun party is just what you need. Usually parties are even more exhausting. So, not really. You frequently find yourself wondering how technological advancement could change everyday life. Sure. You always consider how your actions might affect other people before doing something. That always... I do it if it's something that matters. Like if it's something that will have an impact for years to come. But otherwise, not really. And those big decisions don't really happen all that often. You still honor the commitments you have made even if you have a change of heart. To a fault. You rarely feel insecure. I don't really know who would not be able to answer that like that. Your gender, yay. Let's see my results. Okay, ISTPT, virtuoso. So I am very heavily introverted. I'm slightly more observant than intuitive. I am more thinking than feeling. I am more prospecting than judging. And I am more turbulent than assertive. So believe it or not, this is not the first time I have taken this test. And all the other times that I have taken it, I have got INTP. Which, it doesn't look like I'm that far off from that. I'm slightly more observant than intuitive now, apparently. But this is still pretty close to what I've gotten before. Virtuosos love to explore with their hands and their eyes, touching and examining the world around them with cool rationalism and spirited curiosity. People with this personality type are natural makers, moving from project to project, building the useful and the superfluous for the fun of it, and in learning from their environment as they go. Often mechanics and engineers, virtuosos find no greater joy than in getting their hands dirty pulling things apart and putting them back together, just a little bit better than they were before. Virtuosos explore ideas through creating, troubleshooting, trial and error, and first-hand experience. They enjoy having other people take an interest in their projects and sometimes don't even mind them getting into their space. Of course, that's on the condition that those people don't interfere with virtuosos' principles and freedom. And they'll need to be open to virtuosos returning the interest in kind. Apparently they're uncommon, making up only about 5% of the population. Well, there's 16 of them, so I don't think any of them would be that high, would they? Alright, well, I guess that's pretty cool. I do indeed have a personality. So that's gonna be it for this video. If you have enjoyed, leave a like. Subscribe to see more Anoxtalks videos, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!